Hello friends, welcome back to my video tutorial. This is Lipsa again with you. So today I am going to demonstrate what is the difference between HTTP post, put and fetch method. Okay, so there is always a confusion in your mind that when we go for that HTTP post method and when you go for the fetch method and when you go for the put method. Okay, so in this video tutorial I will try to clarify this confusion. Okay, so for this let's get started to know what is this HTTP post method, put method and fetch method. Okay, so just remember HTTP post method is always used to create a new resource. Okay, when you want to save a new record or to create a new resource, at that time we go for HTTP post method. Clear? Also, in most of the time, some API use post to update a resource as well. But I suggest better to avoid this one. Use only HTTP post to create a resource. Clear? So let's get started for this to check how we can create a new resource by using HTTP post method. Okay. So I am already in my IntelliJ workspace. You can see. So there is a project I have already created Spring Boot with Swagger example. Okay. In this project, I have a controller. Inside this controller, I have yeah. So inside this controller, I have some REST endpoints like to save the resource, to update the resource, and to delete the resource. All those things you can see. So I'll show you this post mapping. Okay. So here you can see save contact is there. To save a resource or to create a new contact, I am using this post mapping. Okay. So in this I accept a request body. So I will pass all the required fields inside this contact object, and by using the save contact method of contact service, I will just save that contact or create a contact. Clear? So let me go to that save contact method to check. Okay, so you can see this is the service class. So inside this service class, I have the save contact method. Okay, so I just created a new contact and set all the required parameters like first name, last name, email, phone number. You know, this is the normal process. We were already seeing all those things in my previous tutorial as well. When I have created the REST endpoints. So by using the contact repository, I just save that new contact and return that contact. Okay, so this is the post mapping I am used to create a new resource. In this case, I have the contact resource. Clear? So I'll run this application and show you how the data is saved to our database by using this post mapping. Clear? So let me run this application quickly. Okay, so my application started at 99. So just access the Swagger UI to check the endpoints. Localhost colon 1990. If you don't know about the Swagger UI, please follow my previous video. I have also shared a video on it how you can integrate Swagger in Spring Boot application to document your REST endpoints. Okay. Okay. So this is the Swagger UI. I have only one controller, that is contact controller. Here you can see all the endpoints are exposed. So now I'll check for save contact. Okay. So in save contact, I have this field like email, first name, last name, and phone number. So ID that will be auto generated after saving the data. Let me remove it from here. Okay, I'll pass the email. Clear? So let me give like this. stranger123@gmail.com. Okay. And in first name, let me put like Daisy. And in last name, let me put like Wal. And phone number, let me put like this. Okay. Clear? So I will now hit here execute. See? So ID 4, it is auto generated. First name, last name, email, phone number I got in our response. Clear? If I go to my database and check for that one, let me check which DB contact DB. Okay. So, okay, here in my MySQL workspace, you can see contact DB schema is present. Inside this, I have a table like contact. If I open this contact table, you can see stranger123@gmail.com and Daisy while 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is inserted successfully in my DB. Okay. So that means a new contact is created and also inserted in our DB. So here you can see the post mapping I have used this post mapping to create a new resource or to save a resource. Clear? Another thing I want to show you. See, so I have the same sort of data. Okay, I'll hit again this save contact endpoint. Let's check what happens. Let me execute this one. Okay, another ID is generated 5 and the first name, last name, email, phone number is same. If I go to my DB as well, just make a refresh over here. See, a new row is inserted with the same data. So what happens in post request when you do the same request twice using post? Okay, so a new record is inserted in your database. So that's why post HTTP post method is called not idempotent. Okay, it's not unique. Clear? So with the same record, with the same field, you can create multiple of records. Okay. So you can see here, I have already with this email, first name and last name and phone number already inserted in my DB. Okay. So when I hit the same request again, then that will also again created another new record and inserted in my DB. Clear? So that's why post is called not idempotent. Here it's an important question. Also may be asked in the interview like whose method is not idempotent. So post is not idempotent. Okay. So that's it about the post method. So we use this post method to create a new resource. Here now we'll check for what is that put then. So remember put mapping is used to update the record. Okay. It will check if data is inserted in the DB or your data is present, then against that data, if any new data comes, then that will update the resource. Okay. So put is always used to update the resource. Clear? So see here. So inside this put mapping, just check in the path variable I have given the ID and here in the request body I have passed the contact object. So if I go to this update contact by ID method, see here. So here I first find the contact object against this ID from my DB. Okay. So contact repository dot find by ID against the ID I got the contact exists in my DB. Then I just map that contact and create a contact object with this newly coming data. Okay. Contact dot set first name, contact dot get first name. I set all these things and return that contact object. If that contact is not present in my DB, then it will anyway throw me the error like this. You can see or else throw. Okay, I have used here lambda expression. So don't worry about this. Also, I have the video series on lambda. So you can check that one as well. So or else throw new response status exception, HTTP status not found, contact ID not found. Okay, so this is the business logic. Don't worry about this. This is not about the today's video. Okay, this is the business logic to update the record in my DB. Clear? So I just save newly created contact. Okay, so put is used to update the resource. So another thing, remember when you are doing the put method, then the payload should have all the fields of that resource. Okay, what does that mean? Let me show you that one practically. So see here. So let's say I want to change this stranger123@gmail.com email address. Let me copy this one. That will be better. So I will find now the update contact by ID. Okay, so I'll go for this put request. Just click here, then try it out. Here, let me paste over here everything. So I want to change this email address. Okay, so I just feel like okay, there is a problem in this email address. So I'll change that email address. So let me just delete up to this stranger@gmail.com and the first name, last name and phone number just keep it as it is. Okay. So to update the record, I need a ID in the path variable. So let me put this ID stranger 4. Okay. Let me put this ID. Clear? So I want to change only the email field. As I am going for the put request, though I am changing the email field only, so I have to provide all the required fields in my payload or request body. Clear? Okay. So now I will pass the ID for then execute it. Okay. So you can see against ID for the email address is updated from stranger123@gmail.com to stranger@gmail.com. If I go to my DB as well and make a refresh over here, then you can see stranger@gmail.com is updated in my DB as well. Clear? Another thing, let me show you. So I'll go for put and I will remove all those things. Okay, I'll remove all those things. So I just need to update this one, stranger@gmail.com. So stranger, let me put like stranger45@gmail.com. I want to update like this. Okay, against this ID code, then I will execute. What happens? Let's check. Okay, so there is a comma over here. Let me remove that one. Execute. See, all the other field are overwritten to null. First name, last name, phone number, everything is overwritten to null because I have not provided anything in this request payload. Only I have given the email. Okay, in the put method, you have to pass all the fields when you are updating the data. Even if you are updating a single field, you need to pass all the fields. Okay, so you can see the first name, last name, and phone number is overwritten to null. If I go to my DB as well, you can check. See here, these have become null, null, and null. Okay, so again, let me pass. Let me pass everything and make a update request. Now everything is updated in my DB as well. Clear? So what happens now? Just remember. So we go for HTTP put method. So in HTTP put method, what we saw, we need to pass all the fields. Okay, when we are updating a single record also, we need to pass all the fields. Else the resource will be overwritten by the data we send. So here, as you saw, we just passed the email address and the first name, last name, phone number is obviously null. That's why the first name, last name, and phone number is overwritten to null. Okay. So hope you understand the put clearly. Okay. Now then, what is that patch? We are using put to update the record. Then what is that patch? So patch is also used to update the record. Okay. We can do the partial update by using patch. Okay. So we saw the problem over here. Even if we want to update the email field only, we need to pass all those things. First name, last name, and phone number. Which is anyway going to increase our network bandwidth. Okay. So that's why patch comes into picture. By using the patch method, what we can do? We can just pass the field what we want to update, not the entire field. Okay, let's say you have thousands of fields. So you need to just update two fields. So why I need to pass all the thousands of fields then? Okay, so it will consume your bandwidth. So that's why we'll go for patch mapping. Here, so by using this patch, we can partial update our resource. Okay, so let me show you that one. So here you can see patch mapping is here. Partial update contact by ID. So I have passed the ID in the path variable and I have passed the request body here. So here I have passed a map to match my JSON with that map. So partial update contact by ID. If I go to this method, see, so I just find the contact exists in my DB by passing this ID. Clear? Then I just iterate this map and find out the key value. Here you can see. So this is by using the reflection utils method. I partial update this contact object. Okay. So if you don't know about this reflection utils, please drop a line to me in the comment box so that also I can give another video on it, how the reflection utils works to partial update our records. Okay. So I just want to skip this for this today's video. So this is used to partial update my data. So let me go to my Swagger UI to check the patch mapping. Okay, write out. So I'll pass the what I'll pass. I'll pass the ID. It's a 5. Then I'll pass here the map. Yes, I'm passing this one. So I need to just update the email address. So I don't need to pass everything. Okay, or I just need to update the email address and phone number. So I just keep first name and last name. Okay. So in stranger123, instead of this, I want to pass like Daisy World at gmail.com. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I need to give like 6, 7, 8. Clear? And want to execute. See, my email address and phone number is updated. So the data is not overwritten by the data we send. I mean the fields are not overwritten by the data we send now. Okay, you can see we just pass the email and phone number. The first name, last name is not overwritten to null. Okay, so if I go to my DB as well and make a refresh over here, you can see the email and phone number is updated. Okay, so I hope I clear all your doubt. I mean the confusion between the post, put and patch. Okay, so post is only used to create a resource. Put is used to update the resource. Okay, and patch is also used to update the resource but partially. Okay, in case of put, we need to send all the fields. Okay, but in case of patch, we just need to send the data or send the field which we want to update, not the entire field. Clear? So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. Thank you.